Millions of drivers could be in line for a refund after being illegally charged for parking on private land.
Well, the RAC Foundation says motorists were overcharged hundreds of millions of pounds in just 1 year alone. It's now calling on the government to get tough on private parking. Jared Tubb reports.
When retired teacher Pauline Welsh left her car in this car park, she wrongly thought it belonged to the council and was free. The result? A privately issued parking charge notice.
You're required to pay £100 or discounted of £60 if you pay within 14 days.
Pauline was not impressed.
Shocking, it needs to be sorted.
That's a view shared by the RAC Foundation. It has taken legal advice and says the government should stop private firms charging drivers so much.
Strictly speaking, they're not fines, and therein lies some of the problem. These are charges which represent compensation for damages done to the landowner by you staying too long in that car park. And sometimes if that parking ticket is 60, 70, 80 pounds for a couple of minutes overstay, you can see why people get upset, because it doesn't seem to represent the loss suffered by the landowner.
The RAC's legal advice that the fines may be illegal applies specifically to private land where drivers are invited to park, then penalised for breaching conditions. Penalty charges on private land are lucrative. It's estimated fines totalling £100 million were paid in 2013. But more than 57,000 drivers have appealed against the fees since 2012, and almost 1 in 2 were successful. Pauline Welsh's husband was one of them.
I thought, here we go again.
He had previously got their son's fine overturned and says no one should pay up.
It's quite simple. The government should protect the public.
In a statement, parking industry body the BPA accused the government of resolute refusal to provide for proper regulation, saying its members are working with current law as they understand it. This latest call for the government to act is a significant step in a growing campaign. The RAC Foundation says the British motorist is being short-changed. Gerard Tubb, Sky News, Darlington.
Well, unsurprisingly, lots of you have got stories to tell about your experiences with parking fines. This is coming from Andrew Ross, who says, my wife was fined £60 for staying 10 minutes past the time on her ticket at Doncaster Royal Infirmary. She was on her own and heavily pregnant and couldn't leave the hospital to put more money on. One of the nurses wrote a letter explaining the situation, but they're still chasing us.
Not right, is it? Now, Dawn Lupton had to help her son after his car was clamped in a legal parking zone. She says, I had to pay £498 to get the clamp removed, broken down as £125 for a clamping charge, £250 for a tow truck charge, £100 for a penalty charge notice charge, and an admin fee of £23.75. I did appeal, but I didn't even get a reply.
So frustrating. She'd probably only popped to the shop for some milk or something, and it cost all that money.
Your blood boiled, isn't it? Well, we'll be sticking with this subject for the Sky News debate. That's coming up at 10:30 this morning.
It's going to be quite feisty. We're asking, should parking fines be better regulated?
We'll be joined by the founder of a parking charge appeal company and the director of the Independent Parking Committee, which tries to balance the rights of the motorists with those of parking enforcement companies. You can join in, tweet us at Sky News or at Sky Samantha, including the phrase #SkyDebate. You can text us as well, 84501, or of course email us news@sky.com. Keep your stories coming in, especially with the amount you've been charged. We're interested in hearing that.
OK.